did not feel like doing my hair today, so I didn't. Because you shouldn't have to do things you don't feel like doing. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes you got to. Okay, what am I? This is the BS4 podcast, and I'm your host, Bria Villa. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the BS4 podcast. I'm your host, Bria Villa, and today we are talking about 7 rules that I live by. 7 is my lucky number. I was born on the 7th, November 7th. Put it in your calendar. Big Scorpio. And if you don't wish me a happy birthday, I'm mad at you. Okay? I care about my birthday. I used to try and be one of those people. I used to try and act like, oh, I don't care about my birthday. I do care about my birthday. I'm not going to act like that anymore. I care about my birthday a lot. So if you don't wish me a happy birthday, you're dead to me. I'm just kidding. Kind of. Not kidding though. Anyways, I have 7 rules that I absolutely live by. And it's funny because I didn't realize that I had 7. And I was in the shower and so many of my thoughts come to me while I'm showering. So I literally have voice memos. So many voice memos. This was on August 8th. I was in the shower and I thought of this episode idea. I started thinking about the rules that I live by and I was like, oh my gosh, I should share these. And then one thing led to another. So I'm going to play like the first 10 seconds of this so that you can see how my brain works. I literally start recording in the shower. Hold on. Okay, so shower thoughts once again. I was just thinking about a podcast episode that I think would be good and labeling it like rules I live by. And then have the first rule be. And so, yes, I literally do this often. I just have a running list of voice memos in my phone, and they're all titled shower thoughts. Some are podcast ideas, some are just like revelations that I have in the shower, some are business ideas. Like, it's just chaotic in my voice memos. But it's so cool to look back on them, and I'm actually really glad that I do that. Nonetheless, let's get into it. I have 7 rules that I live by. Today, the B is for belief systems, because these 7 rules are so deeply baked into my belief systems, and I want to share them with you because I think that they are great. Not tooting my own horn, but I think they're really, really good. Anytime that I share some of these rules with people, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm stealing that. So I figured I would just give them to y'all. A rule that I live by is I never withhold a positive thought. Most people don't say the nice thing they're thinking. I do. If I have a genuine positive thought about someone, I tell them. I made a pact with myself years ago that if I have a positive thought, I am going to share it with that person, because we have this belief as people that people are bad, inherently bad. I think a lot of people feel like people suck. Like, people are mean, people are miserable, people are rude. And I think oftentimes we don't have faith or trust in humanity. And I don't love that mindset. I understand why we have it, because obviously there's power and greed in the world. With that being said, though, no one comes out of the womb angry. No one comes out of the womb tainted or greedy or power hungry. Everyone comes out of the womb, I think, with naturally positive instincts, with a desire to connect, with a posture that leans towards community because we have to rely on each other. And so knowing that there is such disdain for humanity at times, I try to just be an ounce of light in people's day. And the reality is, it makes me feel good. Like, if I am having a genuine positive thought about someone, why would I not share that? Why would I not take the opportunity to give them a compliment? Because it's already in here and it's genuine. I don't just go around giving everyone compliments if they're not authentic. Like, I genuinely have positive thoughts about people all the time, and I like to believe that every person does, but we don't share it with each other enough. And so I've made it literally my own little personal mission that if I have a positive thought about someone, I am sharing it. Like, that is just my thing. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter when. Today, I tried a new Pilates studio, and the instructor had just such a cute little vibe. Like, she had cute patchwork tattoos. She had like this graphic tee on with these cute red sweats and some dunks and like these big clear aviator glasses, and her hair was up in a cute bun. And she just was a vibe. And the whole time during the class, I was thinking, oh my God, she's such a vibe. Her style is so cute. And I was like, I need to tell her this. So when the class is over, first thing I say is, you're just such a vibe. Like, I just love your style. And she was like, this literally just made my day. Thank you so much. It's that simple. You just never know what that compliment can mean to that person. I was on a call with a client recently, and I told them that I loved their glasses, and they were like, oh my gosh, I wanted to try a new style, and this is my first time wearing them, and that just made my day. I'm so glad that I got these. Like, you just never know when it's something that will make someone's day. And even if it doesn't, your intention, your heart posture should be, well, I genuinely thought it, so I might as well share it. And honestly, who doesn't love a compliment from a stranger? Like, let's be real. So that's just something that is ingrained in what I do. I've been doing that for years, and the rule is very simple. Do not withhold. I never withhold a positive thought. Like, I will go out of my way to tell someone something positive about them because we need more of that in the world. It makes me feel good, it makes them feel good, and you never know who you're talking to or what conversation can strike up from it, etc. So that is rule number one that I absolutely live by. Never withhold a positive thought. I literally have a text from someone. This is a person that I was dating at the time, but they said, I like that about you, that you speak up, or that you speak what's on your mind and you don't keep positive thoughts to yourself. And this was earlier this year. You can literally, oh my God, can I get it to focus? And I just thought that was so dope for someone to like recognize that too. So all in all, absolutely, like, that's not just something I'm saying I'm doing and not doing it. I never withhold a positive thought. Also, if my stomach starts growling on this thing, I don't know what to tell you. Second rule I live by is I wouldn't ask you to do something that I wouldn't do. If I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't ask you to. This applies to so many things in life. Business, friendships, relationships, it does not matter. If it is not something that I would do myself, I am not going to ask you to do it. This rule keeps me in integrity. It allows me to lead from example, not from ego. The best leaders I know exhibit the behaviors that they ask from their team, that they ask from their peers, that they ask from their colleagues. I'm sure you've heard the phrase leaders go first. And that's really what this means, is not asking someone to do something that you wouldn't do. I have really high expectations and standards for a partner in a relationship because there are things that I know that I would do for a partner, and I would never ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do. So I'm allowed to keep my standards high because I know that I will reciprocate that energy, if not give back tenfold. Like, think about your friendships. Are you asking some of your friends to show up for you in a way that you're not even showing up for them or wouldn't show up for them? So think about what you're asking for and then ask yourself, would I do this? Would I do this for them? Am I doing this for them? I used to have a team of 20 people who reported into me. And one of the first calls that I had with them, I outlined ground rules of how I want our working relationship to be, what my leadership style is like, etc. And one of the first things that I said to them was, I am not going to ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do or haven't already done. So if I am asking you to do something, know that it's coming from a place of urgency, coming from a place of integrity, coming from a place of, this is something that we need to do because I am willing to get in the boat and do it with you. If not, I've already been doing it. So always, always, always think about the things that you're asking of people, and don't ask people to do things that you wouldn't do. For example, me and my future husband, if I'm asking you to take out the trash, if I'm asking you to plan a date, if I'm asking you, which honestly, I don't want to have to ask you to do this stuff, but you get my point. If I'm asking you to do these things, It's because I know I'm capable of being able to do them. It's because I know that I would do them for you. I don't like hierarchical relationships. I don't like feeling like someone is a dictator or controlling because they ask for things that they wouldn't do themselves. And so I am very cognizant of making sure that I don't ask for anything that I would not do myself. Rule number 3 that I live by is golden rule first, platinum rule second. The golden rule is for strangers. The platinum rule is for people you know. And you're probably thinking, okay, what's the platinum rule? I've never heard of that. It's actually a term that my friend coined because we heard the golden rule and we're like, yeah, that makes sense. But at surface level relationships, the platinum rule, so shout out to Bethany Cabreja because she's the one who made this up. But she's actually a therapist. So giving her credit where it's due, this is how her brain works. She goes, the golden rule is great for strangers. The golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated. You don't know them yet. So at a basic human level, with baseline decency, just treat them the way that you want to be treated. You don't want someone to be rude to you. You want someone to be patient with you. You want someone to be kind. So be those things towards someone at a base level if they're a stranger and you don't know them. The platinum rule is when you actually get to know someone, it's not treat others the way you want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat others the way they want to be treated. Once you get to know them and understand how they are, the way that they operate may not be the same as the way you operate. The way that you want to be spoken to may be different than how they want to be spoken to. The way that they want to be considered may be different than how you want to be considered. The outfits that they want to wear, the way that they want to receive advice, all of those things may be different to them than it would be for you. The golden rule applies to strangers. The platinum rule applies to people you know. Treat them the way they want to be treated. Learn more about them, understand what's important to them, and then show up for them in the way that they need, not just in the way that you think. The platinum rule is real respect. The golden rule is baseline respect. The platinum rule is real respect. It's giving someone the attention, it's giving someone what they need, and showing up for them in the way that they need to be shown up for. So I think this rule is so important in life. It is one of the ones in this episode that I will emphasize the most. Your way of doing is not everyone's way of doing. Your standard, your approach, your opinion is not everybody around you's standard approach or opinion. You have to get to know them and then meet them where they are. Because if you want them to meet you where you are, you have to meet them where they are too. I think the platinum rule is a staple to life. The further in depth you get in your relationships, the more that should apply. So the golden rule at face value, the platinum rule in depth. That is a rule I live by. And honestly, my relationships have gotten so much better because of it. Another rule I live by is always be kind. But kindness is not the same as niceness. There is a difference between being kind and being nice. Being kind is about perception. Being nice is about intention. For example, being nice at a surface level is being polite, people-pleasing, agreeable, doing things to avoid conflict. It's more motivated by external validation. Being nice, being accepted, not rocking the boat too much. It's being more passive and saying yes when you really want to say no. It's smiling when you're uncomfortable. That's being nice. Being nice is focusing on how you want others to see you in the situation. Being kind is totally different. Being kind is rooted in truth. It means that you're not sugarcoating what you're saying. You're being real with compassion. Being kind is motivated by care and by integrity. Being kind is doing the right thing even when it's not the easy thing. Being kind is saying no lovingly. It's speaking hard truths gently. Kindness is actions that align with your values, not just social expectations. Being kind is how you choose to treat others and yourself. While being nice sometimes means abandoning yourself to make others happy or make others comfortable. And so I tell people all the time, be kind. Be kind always. Clear is kind. Honest is kind. Mindful is kind. But that doesn't always mean be nice. A good example of this that I think every woman has experienced is when she's minding her own business, she's focused, she's doing something, and a man comes up to her and tells her that she should smile more. And it's like, I didn't ask you for your opinion on what I should look like. I didn't ask you for your opinion on what I should be doing with my face, okay? Being kind is saying, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not saying say this, but I'm not going to do what you tell me to do just because you think I should do it. No, thank you. I'm good. But it was still kind. Like, I'm not being an asshole about it, but I'm also not going to just agree to make you comfortable. You're making me uncomfortable. Okay? So there's a big difference between being nice and being kind. Always be kind, but that doesn't mean you have to be nice. The fifth rule I live by is ask why. Curiosity is sexy. Learning is important. And face value is not good enough. I am not someone who wants to live a mediocre life. I am not someone who likes being nonchalant or likes anything around me being nonchalant. I am someone who is passionate, who is curious, who wants to make the most out of life that I possibly can. That is why you have to ask why. You have to be curious. When you take things at face value, when you don't really dig in, when you leave stones unturned, it leads to just everything being mundane. You're just going through the motions and you don't even know why you're going through the motions. You're just doing things because you think that's how it's supposed to be done and you haven't figured out why it's being done that way. And then all of a sudden, you're not at the steering wheel of your own life. You're just an autopilot. And if you don't ask questions, if you don't learn more, if you don't inquire, you are just going to go through the rest of your life doing things because you think that's how you're supposed to be doing them and not even knowing if that's what you really want, if that's really aligned to who you are, if you agree with why those things are being done. So one of my biggest rules is ask why. Be curious. Dig in. Question everything. The most incredible stories are made from people who tried and did something that was against the grain. For people who had an idea or a question or saw a problem, and instead of just accepting it, they tried to figure out why that exists. And then they built something that made it better, or they built something that solved it, or they built something that completely changed the way that we operated. That is one of the most important rules in life. Ask why. My sixth rule, which is a very interesting rule, is the elevator rule. If I'm in an elevator with only one other person, I talk to them. Here's why. Strangers have done more for me than some of my friends have. Strangers have done more for me than some of the people I know have. Strangers have opened doors for me, put my names in rooms that I had never even considered. And some of them I've met in elevators. So I made this rule with myself when I graduated college. It's the first time I moved into an apartment with an elevator. And sometimes I would be in there with multiple people. And so it's kind of hard to strike up conversation when there's multiple people in there. But then every once in a while I'd get in there with one other person and you would just awkwardly sit there quiet. And I was like, ugh. I'm just one of those people where like the silence between two people in a small space kills me. And so one day I came home and I'm like, you know what? Next time I'm in an elevator with one person, I'm just going to strike up conversation, say hi to them, introduce myself, ask them how their day is going, whatever. I did it one time and it happened to be, so the next time I get in an elevator, it's with this guy. I see him frequently in the elevator and I decide, hey, I'm Bria, nice to meet you. What's your name? Whatever. What do you do? He was like, oh, I actually own a whole chain of dispensaries out here. And I was like, oh, so cool. Like, how did you get into that, etc. Long story short, we ended up staying connected. We got each other's information. And I am not kidding. He would drop off merchandise to my house for free weekly. He would bring stuff from the dispensary. He would take it and he would text me every week and be like, hey, are you home? And I'd be like, yeah. And he'd be like, okay, I'm coming to drop off some stuff. All because I said hi to him in an elevator. I didn't ask him for a free product. I told him that I would like go support his business, that I would share with people his business, etc. And he was just super kind. And he was like, hey, yeah, I just like have extra stuff that I get all the time. All these growers will send me stuff, will send me a ton of samples because they want me to carry it in my stores. And then I just have an abundance of stuff and I just can't sell it. So like, I might as well just give it to you. He would give me so much free product. I'm not kidding. For like the year and a half that I lived in that building, I did not shop for that product. I don't know if I can say it on here or not. I did not shop for that product once, all because I talked to someone in an elevator. So ever since then, I made a promise with myself that if I am in an elevator with another person, just one other person, I will strike up a conversation with them. This came full circle. A few years later, I was living in Atlanta. I was living in my condo and I got in the elevator. There was one other person. She turns around and it's B. Simone, who is now one of my closest friends. We've been friends for years now, but this is when I first moved to Atlanta. And so then the rule applied. I was like, hi, I actually know you. You're B. Simone, right? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, so nice to meet you. I live in the building. Do you live here? Are you just visiting? We end up striking a whole conversation. We're riding down the elevator together. We hit it off immediately. We get off the elevator together, share each other's information. The next week, she's having dinner at my house. We end up talking on my couch for like 4 hours, totally bonded. And I never thought that the woman that I met in the elevator would completely change my life. The woman that I met in the elevator, because I had this one rule where I said I would talk to anyone in an elevator if it's just one other person in there. The woman that I met in the elevator completely changed my life. She motivated me to start this podcast. We've done essentially business ventures together. Like we literally have seasons of a show together. She just took me all the way across the world to Bali with her, and she's become one of my closest friends, all because I talked to her in an elevator. So that is a rule that I absolutely live by, and I will carry that with me for the rest of my life. And I tell anybody that rule, any chance that I get. If you are just with one other person in an elevator, talk to them, get to know them a little bit. I know that small talk is uncomfortable. I know that a lot of people don't like small talk, but you literally never know who you're standing next to. You never know someone's story, the background that they come from, the things that you have in common, what rooms that they're in that you're not in until you talk to them. And it's not always something for your benefit. Maybe you are someone they need. Maybe you have a piece of advice, a perspective, an experience that they need. So step outside your comfort zone a little bit and talk to people in an elevator. That rule is so important. So I'm challenging you. Next time you're in an elevator with one other person, I want you to talk to them. And my 7th rule. Okay, so we've gone through 6. Here is my 7th rule that is so important to me. If you think about someone, reach out to them. If they crossed your mind, it's for a reason. Do not ignore that nudge. Terms and conditions apply. Okay? I am not saying break no contact because you're thinking about them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if there is someone that you don't have a tumultuous relationship with, that you don't have a boundary in place with, if it's someone that is overall healthy in your life and you think of them, reach out to them. Something that we have the privilege and luxury of having now is access to everyone that we know at our fingertips. People used to have to bike and walk to each other's houses or write letters to communicate and say, hey, I'm thinking of you. And it takes nothing but a second to shoot them a text and be like, hey, I was just thinking of you today. Hope you're doing well. Hey, I was just thinking of you today. How are you doing? And strike up a conversation. You literally never know. And this is just a rule that I live by. If someone crosses my mind, if I have a dream about someone, I really feel like that's a nudge from the universe, from God, for me to reach out and just check on them, see how they're doing, like open the door for conversation. And so that is something that I just live by. You never know what that person could be going through. You never know what conversation can come from it. You never know what type of reconnection can happen. And sometimes nothing comes from it. But at least they know that one person in their life considered them that day. Like maybe they're having a horrible day and it just felt good to have you reach out to them and let them know that they've been thought of. Some people go through their days feeling like no one thinks about them, no one cares about them. And so I think it's so important to reach out to people when I think about them, because if that is the case for them, I want them to know that I did actually genuinely think about them that day. I do actually genuinely care enough to reach out to them. And so people deserve to feel that. And I think it's really important to do it and let people know, hey, I see you. I hope you're well. I'm thinking of you. So, big rule for me, for sure, is if you think about someone, reach out to them. But like I said, terms and conditions apply, babe. This is not a sign for you to reach out to that toxic ass man that you are thinking about all the time, and you finally put a little no contact order in place, and you're listening to my podcast, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, Bria said that I need to reach out to him. I'm going to reach out to him. No, that is not what I said. That is not what I said. I said terms and conditions apply. Okay? Relax. If it is toxic, if it is someone that you know would be better off if you didn't reach out to them for your own sake, I'm not saying throw yourself on the stake for them. Please, for the love of God, do not reach out to them. Like, that is not what I'm saying. This is not your sign, babes. This is not your sign. My Delulu girlies, this is not your sign to reach out to that man, okay? But anyone else that you have a healthy relationship with, if you think of them, reach out to them. I think it's so important. Those are my 7 rules that I live by. I think they're so important. They are a staple in my life. They're the things that I adhere to. Those rules really matter to me. And I hope that you can take some of these rules away and apply them to your life too. I promise you, it makes your life better. It's made mine better. It's opened doors for me. It's created community for me. It's created deeper relationships for me. I fully recommend applying all these rules to your life. And if you have any rules that you think are really good, that you live by, I want to hear them. So make sure that you comment or DM me directly. And I would love to hear some important rules that are a staple in your life. But thank you so much for listening and tuning in today. I appreciate you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, rate the show, follow the show. It would mean the world to me. And make sure that if you are watching on YouTube, that you watch the episode all the way through, right? If you're listening, make sure that you complete the full episode. It would mean a lot to me. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for tuning in today, and I will see you next week. Bye.